Okay. Sorry about that for anyone who decided to jump in. There was a error in the way that everything got set up. We are good now. I'm actually on YouTube on my phone so that I am able to see any live chat. So if you guys want to chat with me, I'm there. All right, so what is Everweave? Everweave is an AI-driven D&D app. It is for solo play. In the description of this will be my friend code. If you're new to the game or you decide you want to give it a try, use that. Gives you 50 free messages, which is not a lot, but it definitely helps. Everweave is still in early access, so please understand that if you play or if you see me play and I have some issues, this is kind of inherent to the game. For now, they are working on it pretty heavily, and it is improving very quickly. Like the dev team pays a lot of attention to the players and has a very good habit of trying to help out. All right. So we're going to go ahead and create a character. I already kind of have an idea of what story I really want to create with this. So my goal here is a Fae. I'm going to say rogue. In all reality, it's going to be a serial killer. Actually, crap. That might get me in trouble. You kind of get what I'm saying. Realistically speaking, I want to be a rogue. By day, I'm going to probably be a storekeeper. And by night, I'm going to try to increase the population of the cemetery without getting caught. The inability to lie as a Fae is going to be inherent. It is also going to make this kind of fun. Because, as a Fae, we basically have to deal in half-truths. We can't lie directly, so evading capture is going to be kind of fun. Personally, I feel like halfling is going to be necessary. Yes, right now they only have 6 races and a couple of classes. Eventually, they will be including more. I think they said recently they're working on adding cleric, I think it was, but some of the skills aren't working properly, so it wasn't added in the last update. Obviously, each race and each thing or each class gives its own benefits and everything. Yes, not everything's working properly, but like I said, this is still in early access. So we're going to go halfling because I believe halfling luck is going to be pretty much a necessity in order for us to be able to get away with the things that we need to get away with. I already said I'm going to go for a rogue. So right now the classes are fighter, rogue, warlock, barbarian, paladin, and back to fighter. So there's only about 5 or 6 classes. So just kind of keep that in mind if you decide you're going to play. We're going to definitely have a proficiency in deception. I feel like that's going to be necessary. Persuasion for sure. We're going to need stealth. And performance. We could grab perception. I don't want to do intimidation because I don't think that's going to be good for this. Acrobatics or athletics would be nice. Probably athletics? No. Perception, maybe? Perception would be really useful, actually. Alright. We're going to pick up... As a rogue, your constant reliance on your individual strengths has enabled you to gain experience in... We're going to go with stealth and deception. Because we really need to convince people that we are not the one responsible. And we need stealth to be able to get in and out of scenarios. We definitely need to max out our charisma. 100%. I feel like that is going to be a hard necessity for this. Strength I'm not too much worried about. Dexterity is probably going to be highly necessary. We'll go to 14 on that. And then wisdom and intelligence I feel like are going to be super useful. I don't think constitution and strength are going to be highly necessary for this. Simply because in a lot of scenarios we're not really planning on that sort of stuff. Alright, so we'll go to 12 there. 13 there. Yeah, I think that's going to be solid. Oh, I almost forgot something. Copy link. I always forget to share the fact that I've gone live in places. I don't remember if that's where he wanted me to put that. Let's see. I will eventually kind of come in and probably make some form of... it doesn't look like there's a place for it there. Sometimes I can't remember what places I can share certain things in and where I can't in others. Like some Discords have a place for... Wow. The number of those have dropped dramatically. Okay, well, is what it is. Alright, so... taking a look here... we are going to just do this. I think it's actually a really good name for a fae, to be fair. Alright, so appearance. What are we going to do for appearance? So this is, we want a few things here. We want to give a brief description of like what we look like, what we're wearing, things that we carry regularly with us. So I guess the first things first, we want what type of fae are we going to be, right? And what court we realistically want to be aligned with. Oh, cool! I forgot that halflings get +2 to dexterity. That's super useful, actually. So there's 4 classifications. We have the Seelie Court, which is the bright court, and then we have the Unseelie Court, which is the dark court. Or do we want to run along with the 4 seasonal courts? I'm trying to think. Do I want to do dark or do I want to do... I mean, clearly we're going to... like, if we do the bright and the dark side, or dark courts, then we want to be part of the dark court given what we're doing with this story. And then we are going to be a solitary, right? We're not going to be a trooping. You know what? I want it to be the 4 courts. I want it to be the 4 seasonal courts. We will have the Shimmer. I think that's going to be super useful. So I think we're going to go with the Winter Court. And... Let's see. Let's see here. You know what? I think we're just going to be listed essentially as an Ancient Cruel Fae. I don't think we're going to run with... let's see. We could do a Boggart. That would be cool. Because then if anybody finds out what we are, who we are, like, it could lead to, like, some really interesting situations where we just, like, outright just go full ballistic. That would be kind of cool. And I think that actually fits really well with, like, the halfling size and everything. And we would just use the shimmer to basically take on a halfling appearance. So our appearance is going to be a little weird. We're going to have to essentially use our, explain our shimmer as well to run with this Fae thing. Welcome, by the way. I see somebody joined. If you want to chat with me, I do have the chat opened up on my phone, so you can send stuff and I'll be able to respond to it with no problems. Especially if you have some cool ideas, I'd really love to hear them. So we also need to leave enough room in the appearance for innate abilities, our themes, our setting. We could include our skill checks and our combat, but we definitely need our themes, our setting, and what we want our AI DM to avoid. We may actually be able to put some of that in the biography, but I want to leave the biography for... We might be able to put the DM avoid in biography instead. So, as a halfling... So, hold on. And Cruel Fae Boggart. Stand. Let's see here. We're going to be... In our normal form, I want to say we're going to be... Let's just go with 3'5". Isn't it like the double marks for feet and then 5 for inches, or the single mark for inches? Tall. Brown. If I remember correctly, Boggarts... What is Boggarts appearance? I think I'm confusing Boggarts with... brownies. I think that's what I'm confusing them as. Because isn't... I want to say Boggarts don't have a specific shape. No. I'm thinking of... you know what? I'm thinking of the Boggarts from Harry Potter. That's what it is. Boggarts are those fucking... really small, hairy, and ugly guys that are kind of brown and humanoid. Not shape. Jeez, I can't type. Let's see here. Let's see. I don't really want to go into clothing because realistically, like, if I remember correctly, boggarts typically don't wear clothes. And like as a halfling, I'm just going to be wearing like the shimmer is just going to include general clothing. I think that's actually not that bad for a general appearance, and we can just kind of let the DM run with it. Innate abilities. Shimmer. So we're going to kind of write it as Shimmer's basically where I can take on the appearance of my choice. Jesus Christ, come on. Apparently I don't know how to work a computer. There we go. I also can't spell. You guys are going to realize real quickly, I cannot spell. I'm a mechanic for a reason. I'm not very good with spelling, grammar, a lot of that stuff. Let's see here. I don't think boggarts typically have any other kind of like innate abilities other than just general mischief. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's fine for just an innate ability. Hold on, we want to... No, we don't want to, because then it's going to run a skill check every time. Because if I don't write it that way, it's going to run a skill check every single time we have to like interact with anyone. And it's going to create problems. Let's see here. DM themes. We're gonna do high fantasy. We're gonna do Fey Courts. Modern, no, we'll do that in the setting. Big cities. And factions. I want factions. We want the cities to be split up into factions, creating better. It usually works for me. Setting modern. I kind of want to do like a Victorian England setting. No, we'll do modern. No, I do kind of like the Victorian. How do I want to word this? How do you... What was it? Victorian England was considered a feudal system, wasn't it? So, like, that should give us, like, lords, ladies, kings, dukes, all that. From there, we're gonna do a modern setting. So, modern with a feudal hierarchy is pretty good. I don't really want to set a specific time frame. So we can move on to DM Avoid. Because I don't like cults. Okay, so if you guys end up joining this game and starting to play it, because it is a lot of fun, the DM has a very heavy habit of going with cults, ley lines, outer beings, or celestial beings, I should say. That sort of stuff. We also don't want any, like, worldwide threats. Because realistically, I just want to be a menace to this to the city I'm a part of, and maybe move cities at some point if things get too crazy. Like, I want to be I want it to be fairly peaceful. Right. Right. So from there, we're going to... How much space do I have left? Maybe enough for DM skill sets. We don't want the DM skills, like, our skill rolls to be too high. I just want it to be moderate. So we want 10 or 8 to 12, right? Let's keep it kind of mid-range. That way we should hit roughly about a 50% rate, which is pretty solid. And then DM combat, we want to keep it hard. Yeah, I don't want it to be ridiculous, but I do kind of want a challenge. All right, so then we're going to go into biography. We're going to write it as like I've moved to a large city and taken up as a store owner to blend in. What kind of shop should we run? Trying to think here. What would be... Oh, I know. We're going to do weird and arcane treasures. So we basically we're kind of known as that oddball guy. The city views us as a kind but odd character. This should kind of make us seem like a bit of a loner. How do we want to navigate this? We don't want to go with an age because we are kind of like an ancient fae. Let's see. How do I want to do this? You know what? One thing I do want to include. Eight. Ah, fuck. We hit the end of our available range. Oh, no, I just hit a wrong button, I guess. We want a reasonably strong weapon without it being ridiculous, right? So like max damage we're looking at is 16 plus 6, so 22 damage on a max hit. So yeah, that should work pretty well in line with like what a rogue should be able to do on a stealth hit. Let's see. Outside of that, there we go. That way the DM's got a pretty good idea of who I am. What do I want the goal of this story to be? I do want to be the villain. I don't want it to try to create a hero story for me. That is the other thing, is the DM will almost always try to put you into these world-ending quest scenarios, and try to send you on a bunch of quests. So the biggest thing with this game is you do need to be pretty clear about what you're expecting out of your story. You need to be very clear about what it is you're wanting to do. Things like this are really important, like the setup of your character. If you're wanting a very specific style of story, or if you're wanting not a pre-built story, like you need to be very clear on what it is you actually want from your story. Because otherwise it's gonna come up with some random stuff that you may not necessarily want. Like, that happens all the time. I will, through this, also show you how to navigate the new dialogue mode, which a lot of people have had trouble with. They are currently working on improving it, but it's gotten a lot better since the initial update. But it's still not great. So we're going to do City Square. It doesn't really matter, honestly, which one we pick. No matter what we pick, we're going to end up creating a unique scenario. But I feel like City Square is going to create a somewhat reasonable start. All right, so we're gonna completely ignore what we're reading here. You can directly talk to the DM out of character, or just talk to them in general. Remember, please and thank you does a lot for this game. Yeah, I know it seems kind of odd because you're talking to an AI, but it likes to pretend that it has... How do I word this? Like, it has its own personality, even though it really doesn't. Create a unique starting scenario based on my character description and backstory. Thank you. All right, so this is usually going to be your first message in any kind of unique scenario. If you're not wanting to just run with a pre-built story, I say pre-built, I mean pre-built start. If you're not wanting to run with a pre-built start, if you have a unique scenario that you're really wanting, this is going to be your first message. This is going to force the DM to look immediately at your description and your background. And then it's going to create a special scenario based off of that information. Jesus, it really lowers the font all the way down every time. This will allow you to have a more direct story for what you're actually looking for, rather than just setting it up to essentially run like this. So we're going to hit send, and we're going to see what it comes up with. I say that. I really hope this does not decide to basically say, sorry, we cannot let you in right now because the servers are backed up. It's usually pretty quick about saying something about it, so I think we are in one of the server slots, which is great. I think they are planning on purchasing a few more servers, maybe, or expanding their server. I'm not quite sure how that works. Okay, let's see what it came up with. Dust motes dance in the late afternoon sunbeams, piercing the grimy windows of Gnimalf's Curious and Arcana. The air is thick with the scent of aged parchment, dried herbs, and something vaguely metallic. A testament to the peculiar inventory that lines your shelves. It's precisely the kind of establishment where one might find an enchanted thimble next to a mummified lizard. Most certainly not the kind of place where a boggart of the Winter Fey Court might conduct their true business. The bell above the door gives a weak jingle as a customer enters, shaking you from your reverie. He's a portly man, his respectable merchant's tunic stained across his belly, a nervous sweat beading on his brow despite the cool autumn air. His eyes dart around your shop, lingering a moment too long on a tarnished silver locket, before settling on you, the seemingly unassuming halfling behind the counter. "Good day, proprietor," he huffs, adjusting his spectacles. "I require a specific container. Simple, you understand, a robust iron casing perfectly sealed, for a consignment of particularly delicate spices, you see. And," he lowers his voice, though his eyes remain shifty, "there are whispers of loose teeth on the docks tonight." So we are 100% launching straight into dialogue mode. So how I would normally do this is we're going to say, DM, please initiate dialogue mode. And this way we can control when dialogue mode is actually initiated to control what kind of memory the dialogue is going to pull from. We can use our narrative message to determine how that conversation is going to go, and a variety of other things. So we're going to say, we're going to first greet him. So we're going to ask specifically if he needs something specific for it besides its iron casing. Try to get an idea of what exactly he's looking for. Other thing for dialogue mode. Dialogue mode's really weird in the sense of, like, you need to, like, if you're specifically trying to garner a specific response, a general mood, those sorts of things, you need to include out of parentheses feelings or intent. This is highly important for the DM or for the AI to navigate skill checks and variety of other things. So realistically, an iron casing is a little weird for spices, right? So I kind of want to see if I can figure out what exactly he's trying to get out of this, because I doubt he's really looking for spices. Alright, let's see what we can find out. It's going to take a longer moment for it to do this part, because it has to initiate dialogue mode. The AI handoff has to happen. Let's see. Let's see what it gives us. And this may take a minute, sadly. I wonder... Do I have enough points? I do. So, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and purchase a subscription, since I have enough points to do it with. And that should actually... Really? Alright, we're going to do this real quick. Copy. I'm going to use that to go ahead and get the subscription. This should speed up, or this should give us a priority. Alright, so we're going to back out real quick and then go back in. Here we go. Okay, his name is going to be Corvin Vale. Yes, iron naturally, thick plating, needs a heavy lock. What is... Oh, I haven't actually done this before. I had no idea. Oh, this is kind of cool. You know what? I never saw what kind of equipment I have. It did not give me my knife. Well, then that's sad, but alright. So I kind of want to see if the items that it's showing... Okay, so the items it's showing either his or they're mine. Okay, those are his. Good to know. Alright, yes, iron naturally, thick plating, needs a heavy lock, the kind that doesn't just snap under pressure. It's for a delicate consignment. The transit from the docks is, well, it's treacherous these days. Have you heard much about the security situation down there lately? It seems volatile. Corvin pulls a handkerchief from his sleeve to dab on his forehead, then fumbles to adjust his spectacles again. Though they are already perfectly straight, he leans in slightly, his eyes darting toward the shop door before settling briefly on the floorboards. Interesting. He's hiding some shit for sure. He's 100% hiding some shit. Alright, so I guess the question now becomes like, how do we navigate this? So we're gonna make let's see. Let's go for 100 silver. Let's see. Aren't Fae like... Okay, we're going to have to navigate how we're going to grab this. Let's see if he's willing to buy it for 100 silver. I do like the character. I think the character is really cool. So they've gone to this mode, which also includes I think they're trying to probe to see what kind of stuff I should know about. 100 silver. It is steep, but for dwarven work, I suppose it is fair. I'll take it. But tell me, given you seem to know what goes on in this city, is the danger down at the docks just whispers, or should I genuinely be concerned about moving goods through there tonight? Corbin exhales a sharp, shaky breath and reaches into his tunic to pull out the heavy leather pouch. His movement stiff. He places the coins on the counter with a soft clatter, his eyes darting to the iron box before he quickly adjusts his spectacles and leans forward, waiting for an answer while casting a nervous glance toward the shop's front door. Pays 100 silver for the enchanted iron box Worra presents. Okay. So we're going to kind of go the route of like, hey, we kind of just stay to ourselves. We don't really interact with the city at large in terms of our shop owner persona. There's a pretty big possibility I'm going to interact with this story a little bit off screen. A fiend, gods. Oh, what? Why did it say it then? A fiend, gods, that is troubling news, truly. I think I've heard enough to keep my head down and my pace quick tonight. Thank you for the box, shopkeeper. I'll be going now. Corden's face drains of color as he hears the news. He quickly snatches up the iron box and the key, his fingers trembling as he shoves them into his tunic. He avoids meeting the shopkeeper's gaze, his eyes darting toward the shop door, his knuckles white as he clutches the package in his chest, before he turns and fumbles with the latch on the door. Okay, so we definitely want to end dialogue mode here as he leaves. We're going to go that route. So we're going to end dialogue mode here. We're going to kind of prep the idea of attacking the docks tonight. Possibly to retrieve our silver box. Or our iron box, I mean. That'd be kind of cool if we gathered... We could run that route. Where some of the things that we sell, we curiously retrieve back. All right, the portly merchant, Corvin Vane, practically tumbles out of your shop, the nervous jingle of the bell quickly fading with his retreating footsteps. You let out a soft sigh, a faint smile playing on your lips. Spices, you muse to yourself, your gaze drifting towards the grimy windows and the bustling street beyond. I doubt it. The merchant's hurried whispers about loose teeth on the docks linger in your mind, a tantalizing thought of the coming hours. The afternoon wanes, the shadows begin to stretch long across the cobblestones outside. My brain got caught on something real quick. Few other customers dare to brave Gnimalf's curios and arcana, leaving you to the quiet contemplation of your strange wares as the last sliver of sunlight disappears, painting the sky in bruised purples and grays. A new energy stirs within you. A chill wind snakes through the cracks in the shop's old stone, carrying with it the distant sounds of the docks. Creaking timber, the slosh of water against hulls, and a faint, unsettling clamor that speaks of troubles lurking in the shadowed alleyways. The night has fallen, and with it, the true spirit of Worra Gnimalf begins to stir. Okay, so we are going to dispel the shimmer here. So after we lock the shop up, do I really not know how to spell dispel? What is going on with my mouse? Apparently I can't... Oh, there's just not two L's. Oh my god, there's just not two L's. Okay. And dispel our shimmer disguise. We're going to make our way through the alleys. Avoiding guard patrols. So we're gonna stick to the shadows and just kind of avoid being seen. And we're gonna try to find the merchant to see what Jesus Christ, a 14. I don't know why it's okay. Oh, halfling luck reroll plus 20. What? It just throws straight up of just a straight plus 20. That is crazy. Actually, and probably pretty necessary. Oh, that's right, because if you roll a 1, doesn't it just automatically add 20 to the roll? Oh, and it's going to do another ability check. A 7. So we're going to get an 8 probably. Maybe a little bit higher. Right, proficiency and perception, all that other stuff. So we got a 10, so we're probably not going to find him. But that's okay. Our goal, realistically, is just to find anyone to murder. And hopefully, well... I really shouldn't say that on YouTube, should I? Okay. The shimmer of your halfling disguise melts away as you slip through the hidden panel at the rear of your shop. The familiar, slightly unsettling sensation of your true form settling upon you. The city's nocturnal pulse thrums around you as you navigate the labyrinth alleys with practiced ease. Shadows cling to you like a second skin, and your movements are as silent as a whisper of frost, allowing you to bypass a pair of patrolling guards without so much as a rustle. The air grows heavy with the brine and refuse of the docks as you draw near, lanterns casting flickering pools of sticky yellow light illuminating drunken sailors, shadowy figures lurking in doorways, and the skeletal mass of moored ships swaying gently against the inky sky. You melt into the deeper shadows of a derelict warehouse, your gaze scanning the bustling yet treacherous scene for any sign of the nervous merchant. The docks are a hive of activity, even at this late hour. Drunken shouts mingle with the creak of ropes and splash of unseen things in the water. Your keen senses shift through the cacophony, but the portly merchant, Corbin Vane, is nowhere to be seen. Among the shadowy figures loading cargo, haggling over prices, or simply stumbling through the dim light of the flickering lanterns, he seems to have vanished into the gritty fabric of the night, or perhaps he found a clever way to blend in. As your gaze sweeps over the cluttered piers, your attention is drawn not to the merchant himself, but to a small, agitated cluster of figures gathered near a stack of fish barrels, closer to the water's edge. 3 burly, rough-looking men in stained leather jerkins are gesturing wildly at a smaller, hooded individual who keeps glancing nervously towards the shadowed alley from which you emerged. Their voices are low, but the tension in their posture is palpable, suggesting a confrontation on the brink. Okay, no, I don't want to fight these people. Right? I kind of want to play the unseen rogue kind of thing. Alright, so we're going to quickly get the heck out of there. We're going to try to find somebody that we can lift some goods for our store. And hopefully be able to dispatch them rather quickly. Especially this early on, I do not want to get into fights with groups of people. I just feel like that's overall going to be kind of a bad idea. Okay, the DM did not listen to me at all on skill checks and crap. I said between 8 and 12, and it's so far given me a 13 and a 14. Don't get me wrong. My rogue and halfling stuff should make it fairly easy for me to get most ability checks. But still, this is going to be slightly annoying. Alright, let's see what the DM comes up with on... Oh, now it's going to make me do a... Jesus Christ, we are going to be blowing through messages for ability checks at this point. So it looks like we did find a solitary sailor. We're going to see if we can't liberate him of the things that he has. Welcome for those who have joined. If you guys want, I do have my app up on my phone, so I can respond. Unfortunately, I won't be on much longer. I do have a few things that I need to do today, but if you guys want to rewatch the VOD, it will be on my channel. I am hoping to continue this story in the very near future as well. I do eventually want to become a pretty good streamer for Everweave. I do really like the game, and I am pretty active in the community for it, or at least in the Discord. So if you guys want, you guys can always join the Discord, and I am more than happy to speak with you guys there as well. All right, you slink deeper into the labyrinth shadows of the docks, a ghost among the creaking timber and lapping waves. The rough conversation of the men by the fish barrel fade behind you as you weave past stacks of crates, coils of heavy rope, and discarded netting, your diminutive form melting seamlessly into the gloom. The smell of salt, tar, and fish guts hangs heavy in the air. Oh, I lost where I was at. Heavy in the air, a pungent cloak over the whispers of the night. Further down the quay, near a brightly lit tavern spilling ruckus laughter, Jesus, and the tinny clang of music onto the cobblestones, a solitary figure emerges from the establishment. He's a burly sailor, his movements a little too deliberate, his hands occasionally patting a heavy coin purse slung at his hip. The light from the tavern's open door catches the glint of what appears to be a silver chain around his neck, even as he casts a furtive glance over his shoulder. The sailor stumbles slightly as he exits the boisterous tavern, his stride heavy with ale. He pats the bulging coin purse at his hip again, a gesture less of reassurance and more of unconscious display, almost daring someone to try and take it. The silver chain around his thick neck catches the lantern light with a dull gleam, hinting at other valuables hidden beneath his rough tunic. He moves with a determined wobble, heading away from the cluster of the other dock workers and towards a less lit path that skirts the edge of the warehouses, his head swiveling occasionally as if expecting trouble. He is alone, his back momentarily turned to the raucous tavern, his focus seemingly on the shadowed path ahead. His eyes, though bloodshot, dart nervously from side to side, missing the true predators of the night. He whistles a tuneless melody, perhaps to bolster his courage, as he disappears into the deeper gloom between two towering piles of cargo, leaving the sounds of reverie behind him. Okay, yeah, we are 100% going after this guy. Alright, so we are going to attempt to end him before he can do anything. I think the way this works now is it will automatically move to combat encounter, and I'll have to attempt the stealth attack there. I don't think it lets us do this from narrative mode anymore. Because, like, in the past, it used to automatically do it from... Alright, you go through the dark, taking a circuitous route that brings you just ahead of the stumbling sailor. Melting into the deep shadow of a protruding crate, you wait as the burly man rounds the corner, still patting his coin purse. You lunge from the darkness, dagger flashing toward his throat. Alright, so it automatically engages the combat encounter. So we are going to... Yeah, so this is how it works now, is it's just going to automatically go into combat mode, and then you have to attempt the surprise attack from combat mode. The only thing I personally don't like about the computer or the PC version of this game, it is available on iOS and Google Play. It keeps doing that. So we are going to get a roll for attack with advantage. We do succeed. And As far as whether or not we're going to end the fight right here is kind of hard to say. So we are just going to straight up end the fight on a surprise attack. Cool. So the combat system seems to recognize the dagger that I said I had in my description and everything. But like I said, the only thing I don't really like about the way the combat system works on PC compared to others is it doesn't automatically jump to the bottom every time a new message is played. You kind of have to wait, and it will eventually display more. So I'm waiting for this combat to end. As soon as it does, then we will move. Oh. All right, so we're going to go that route. It may try to say, oh, no, you can't do that because it didn't recognize the previous message. It may or may not. It's a little weird. Because, like, here, it fully accepted that I beat him there. So it's either going to just run with it or it's going to make me completely redo the attack attempt. So I'm pretty much just doing this, and then I am hopping off for the day. Come on. What is it doing? While it does this, I'm going to walk away for just a minute. Okay. So it did recognize it at least. So we're going to get a tarnished brass compass, a silver chain, and 37 coins. We're going to go ahead and take all. And then we're probably going to cut it here. After I read this. All right. The burly sailor crumples to the cobblestones with a wet thud, his eyes still wide with surprise and the flickering tavern light reflecting in their sudden vacancy. You waste no time, your movement swift and economical. The heavy coin purse at his hip is quickly detached, its weight satisfying in your palm, and the tarnished silver chain is deftly pulled from around his neck. A quick, practiced pat-down reveals little else of immediate value. His pockets hold only a few link-covered buttons and a small tarnished brass compass, its needle still spinning wildly as if trying to find its way back from oblivion. The body, now a mere husk, lies still in the deepening shadows, a fresh stain of the gritty tapestry of the docks. You melt back into the darkness, the slight clinking of your newly acquired loot, and the only sound breaking the uneasy silence. Alright. So, we've taken care of a first person. We got some useful stuff. We got some coin. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm probably going to play this a little bit off screen as well, just because like I enjoy the story. But we will continue with this character the next time I jump back on. I don't know when that'll be yet. Thank you guys for joining me. And like I said, if you guys want to try it out, it is on PC, it's on iOS, and it is also on the Google Play Store. Google Play Store. My brain's not wanting to work. Android Play Store is what I meant. In the description is my friend code if you guys are new to the game. That will give you 50 free messages, which isn't a lot, but it definitely helps, especially with the free ones that you get with any new account. From there, I appreciate you guys joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Also, if you want, I will be in the Discord channel of Everweave, so I'm still working on my own Discord. I don't know when it's going to be done. It's taken me a while because I'm not very good with Discord, but I'm absolutely in the Everweave Discord, so if you guys want to go there and talk with me, you guys can. All right, thank you. Bye.